All right, guys, I need your advice. So every year I come into this little pickle, and it turns out to be quarter four is a little bit more challenging than I'd like it to be. And I've clearly have not been creative enough to figure out a solution to certain situations. And I'm going to give the aerial view breakdown of what's going on and how things usually happen, and some of the trials and tribulations of running a business and where we get stuck. So quarter four every year is probably the toughest quarter in supplements. It's a little bit rocky. You have the Black Friday holidays, you have Halloween, October. We're getting into a little bit more of the winter fall vibe. And then, of course, you have the Christmas holidays going into New Year's. Now, a lot of people think New Year's is this big explosion in the sports nutrition industry. It's not necessarily. Even since I had my supplement store, it was never this big like rocket that takes off right away. It was usually a couple of weeks into January, people start really moving around. I think the floodgates open more for gyms and personal training and fitness studios and things of that nature. People are trying to hit their goals and stuff like that. So they just dive right in and they start to figure it out. And you'll see a lot of those people start to dissipate right after the first month into the second month. And by March, it's like, it's back to normal. It's a vicious cycle. But as far as supplements go, in quarter four, some of the biggest issues that we've had is the fact that it's very hard to sustain consistent sales. Now, we've tried various different things. I mean, when October comes around, the only thing we haven't done is kind of sell out to a pumpkin spice flavor anything yet. I'm sure a lot of people do that, and that probably works really well for some brands, right? But we do press on the Halloween gas a little bit. We like the Halloween holiday. We've dropped multiple exclusives on Halloween, but the problem is towards the end of the month, people expect it, they're looking for it, and it kind of doesn't really help the beginning of the month. Now, rewind. The beginning of the month, it's fall. We've dropped long sleeve shirts before. We've dropped sweatshirts before. That seems to do okay, but it's not like the biggest needle mover, as we're not an apparel company. You guys know we don't push clothing like that. We love to sell you clothing and you guys to rock the brand and stuff like that, but it's not really something like it's not something that drives the revenue for us per se. And then you have November. So now you have this October kind of the beginning, nothing really going on, boom, Halloween, a little something. And then you kind of like spike a little bit, right? Going into November. November, it's a very similar deal, especially this year, more so than any other year. You see people waiting and waiting. They were waiting for Black Friday sales. And unfortunately, some of my competitors I saw were dropping Black Friday sales, it looked like in September. They were like teaser, like Black Friday in September. And, obviously they were jumping the gun on them a little bit earlier, probably to drive some quarter four revenue. So the customer's behavior is groomed to this November sale. And the first couple of years in business, we were like, hey, we're selling a premium product. We're not going to run any sales on it. And then we just sat on the sidelines and, we didn't make any money. So, and the competitors, our customers went and spent money with people that were running these exotic, crazy deals. And we couldn't compete with that at the time. And we didn't want to do that. Then a couple of years later, we introduced basic deals, 20% off. Didn't really hit home, got some sales, yada, 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 25% off one year, 30% off, I think is the max we went. And then it just still wasn't going. And then still, no matter what deals we were doing, we got into this situation where December still fell off of a cliff. So I don't know how sought after sports nutrition products and supplements are as like Christmas or stocking stuffers or things of that nature. I don't know if it's got a huge market for it. Maybe some brands do. We don't have that clientele base where people are buying. And we have a lot of small items that are like in pill form that would fit perfect as a stocking stuffer. But I don't know if supplements are a little bit more individual. I don't know if it's something that people would necessarily buy for somebody unless it was like a wife or a brother who knows that Frankie takes X, by this brand and really loves it. I don't think like mom and dad are going to go buy you a bucket of protein, like to, stick under the tree. Possibly, maybe, I'm not sure, but it just hasn't really worked for our brand. One year we did Christmas and holiday baskets, and those didn't do as well as I remember them doing. They might have did okay, but we were in the basement. We had full control of the shipping operation at the time, so I can custom wrap all these baskets and make them, and we were shipping them out. This is before we moved our 3PL to Oklahoma. Obviously, when we moved the 3PL to Oklahoma, it's a lot harder to get those guys to do that. Not that they won't do it, but it'd be a lot of planning. It'd be a lot of moving parts as far as getting the baskets down there, and I'm not going to be as hands-on, which obviously I'm a control freak. And part of the reason why the brand is not growing exponentially is because my hands are involved in everything, which somewhere down the line that'll probably change, but we'll see. For now, I'd like to be involved in as much stuff as possible. So I can't put that on the shipping department. But as far as like Black Friday, we get into this vicious cycle now where, okay, well, we want to come off the bench and play a little bit. So we start doing these BOGOs for the last couple of years. And probably this year was the last year that I'm going to do a BOGO. Next year, maybe we'll do like a buy two, get one free, or a buy two, get two free. It'll still be a BOGO, but there'll be a little bit more of incentive. I don't know what we're going to do. I really want to get into a little bit more of the bundling where we're stacking, things like shaker cups and gym bags and t-shirts and sweatshirts and maybe or spend X, get X or something like that. The BOGO thing is not a good situation. Yes, it allows me to create some revenue for the brand and bring some money into the brand, but it doesn't necessarily make the month better. It's really what brands actually end up doing is giving away a lot of stuff. And as they're giving away a lot of stuff, they just end up making up the month because the beginning of the month, the customer's riding the brake. So, a lot of the times in the beginning of the month, we do a little bit of a micro deal. We do a flash sale. We do another micro deal. And we try to diversify the portfolio. And over the last 9 years, we've been gaining some pretty good analytical data and see what's working in that department and what's not. But I don't really think any of it's working great. And then the biggest problem I have is December. So, and I'm going to say this to you guys out there, and this is me as well. So I take this into consideration with other brands that I support and I like. If you like a brand and you genuinely appreciate a brand, and the biggest way that you could express that type of gratitude or appreciation would be towards supporting that brand, not only on the Black Friday sales and stuff when the companies have to be forced to give some of this stuff away at a discount, but the month after is really the most important because sales typically will fall off a cliff unless you line it up and you have an exclusive or you have something that's a flavor that you're dropping or a new product launch. I don't even know if that will help. I mean, next year I might dibble and dabble and try, but long story short, December just falls off of a cliff and people kind of go ghost and then they come back around in like the middle of January. It's been the cycle for years. But what I'm ultimately trying to do, and I guess the reason why I'm talking about this out loud is I'm trying to reach out to you guys and some of my friends that own supplement stores and my other friends that own brands or work for brands. Where do you guys find the most success in Q4 with rolling out your holiday launches and keeping sales somewhat consistent and sustainable, even after like a Black Friday, going into like a New Year, and maybe trying to keep things going for the Christmas holiday weekend and just keeping customers engaged and making sure that you could ship all your products out in time? Where do you guys see the most success? What are you doing that's really working? What have you tried in the past that hasn't worked? I'm really curious to hear from you guys, and I'm putting this piece of content out there because I genuinely care. And it's been something that we've been struggling with, and I would like to think that I'm somewhat creative, and I've been doing this for a long time, and I like to try to approach things with an outside of the box mentality, but sometimes you just get trapped. And I feel like, for us with Condemned, Q4 is kind of like one of those situations where I feel like we're just surviving till January and then the lights come back on somewhere in the middle of January. And that might just be the model, but I don't want to accept that as like some sort of defeat. I would like to really be proactive and work around it. So guys, let me know what you guys do in your Q4 to keep your stores going, to keep customers walking in and out, and to keep your websites rocking and rolling and your wholesale accounts super happy and shopping even after the crazy Black Friday deals. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. As always, be sure to write in the comments below or message me on Instagram, MichaelNicholas718. I always look forward to hearing from everybody. Guys, have a happy holiday. Make sure you check out the Condemned Labs website at www.condemnedlabs.com.